Crystal B. Thanks for tuning in to Crystal B Talks. I like to emphasize that life is about living in a STEM world, which consists of science, technology, engineering, and math. And today, I got a very special guest. She is also a pageant queen. And you also get to see in our conversation how STEM plays a big role in her accomplishments. Let's give it up for Mikala McGhee.
Hey, everyone. I appreciate the round of applause.
Thanks for being here today.
Oh, well, of course. Thanks for inviting me, Crystal. I appreciate it.
So how was your day today?
Today has been good. So, woke up, tried to get a workout in, but overslept, if we're being honest, went to work and rushed over here to meet you, which crazy story, everybody. So me and Crystal have actually never formally met. She reached out to me, being the girl boss that she is, taking action and getting things done. And we linked. And so we're a product of what you see today.
Yes. So one of my questions I have is how you switch from being a sports or news reporter to in healthcare, like the healthcare.
Oh, yeah. So I can say my journey has been very much so filled with different career avenues, a lot of those that I never really expected myself to get into. So out of college, I was actually living in Florida at the time and loved Florida, wanted to stay there, but didn't really know what my calling was, what my purpose was. I wasn't really finding career or job opportunities that were really catching my interest. So I ended up moving back home to St. Louis and just threw myself into any and everything. I started substitute teaching, I was coaching, I was just trying to gain some knowledge and background education on the side to try to figure out what my passions were. And I ended up playing with the St. Louis Surge, which is our professional women's basketball team here. And while I was playing with them, I was serving as a dual role as their communications and social media manager. So playing both roles, I was able to get a lot of experience there. And I went and did an interview on Fox 2 News with their sports team about the Surge. And they actually ended up coming to me afterwards and were like, we have an open position in the sports department. We think that you would be great here. Just, you have a good speaking voice, you have a good presence, sports, you're from the area. So I was like, let me go ahead and check this out. Again, with no real background experience. I didn't go to journalism school, but I said, you know what, we're going to vamp this resume up. Yes. We're going to go out there. We're going to give it the good old college try. Got the interview. It went extremely well, but I lacked experience. I was green, what they would call you in the media world. So they didn't offer me the position that day, but they did offer me a paid internship. So I was able to get into the station, grab a camera, really go out into the field and get that hands-on experience. And 3 months later, after just working hard and showing that I could do this, they came back and offered me a full-time position at the station. So yeah, I was able to do news all around St. Louis and the greater St. Louis region. I was able to do sports and anchor and cover the Cardinals, the Blues, the Olympic trials that came here for gymnastics. I believe in 2021 or it was a while ago, but it was just great. And again, I always saw myself being on TV. I didn't know at what capacity that would be in, but I loved my broadcasting career. And I'm kind of just going through the whole timeline of things. But, then my heart felt called to something else, and I'm a big person. Like if God puts it on your heart, it's for a reason. Yeah. So I prayed on it. And guess what? Pageantry came into play, which is something I never expected on my journey because I am, a 3-sport varsity athlete in high school, Division I college athlete, played professionally for about 3 years. So pageants were not on my radar, but somehow, some way it came into my life. And when I decided to do it, I gave it my all. And I was able to go to Miss Missouri USA 2022 and win on my first attempt, which is not very normal in that world, especially for such a prestigious pageant. So I spent all of 2022 being your Miss Missouri USA, and then ironically fell into healthcare. So crazy story here as well. Like Crystal's gonna be like, all right, girl, you just talk because here we are. I'm gonna give you the stories, okay? I was rounding up my reign as Miss Missouri USA, and of course, those thoughts of what's my next step going to be. And I was looking to get back into media. I was putting myself out there. I was getting with an agency, sending my reels out. And even though I was getting great leads, nothing was really connecting. None of the opportunities that I was really looking for, even if they were interested in me, they didn't have open positions at that time. So I had to really go into prayer and to faith and be like, God, I'm going to trust you with my next steps, and wherever you lead me, let that be. And a friend from 11 years ago who I used to play select soccer with,
Really?
11 years ago, we have not
Wow.
spoken 11 years, reached out to me randomly on Instagram, who works for SSM Health now, and she's an RN and has been with SSM Health for about 3 years.
It's a small world.
It's a very small
Yeah.
world, but I mean, out of the blue, just
Yeah.
reached out to me and was like, Mikala, we are starting this new clinical recruitment team. We are looking for a communications specialist who can come in and kind of wear dual hats, multiple hats, handle social media, do internal, external communication, and really be a storyteller. And although I don't have experience in healthcare, I was like, yeah, that sounds like where my passion lies and something that I could be of service in and bring some value. So I applied and ended up getting the job. And so now I'm with SSM Health, which is a company that employs over 40,000 people in the Midwest region. And I handle our internal, external communications, doing a new social media strategy specifically for recruitment. And I'm so ecstatic for this whole new adventure, even though I can sit here and say I don't necessarily know what to expect or what's really going on, but you just figure it out day by day, and it's been great.
Awesome. So it sounds like you use a lot of your transferable skills from your internship and your previous job with the STL Slurge into healthcare. Yeah.
Yes, I would just say, for anyone watching or any young woman, young man, is that you don't always have to have everything figured out. And I think that's one thing, me being a very goal-oriented person, someone who's very much so a go-getter, I would literally overstress myself thinking that I had to have all my plans figured out, and that if I didn't have something accomplished by a certain time, then that I was failing. Not realizing that everything that I had to go through and every job, every work experience, whether I hated it or loved it, was giving me the skills and equipping me and preparing me to get to the next level each and every single time. I've only ever elevated. And if I had to take a step back, it was a step back to learn something, which propelled me to even greater heights. So don't be afraid to move at your own timeline. And also don't wish away time, if that makes sense. Don't wish away the moments where you're there learning valuable skills that are going to help you in the future to be a great leader, to be an entrepreneur, to be your own boss maybe one day. But I can tell you, there's nights I've gone to sleep crying, just thinking I was failing. And if you look back at my life, if I were to put my resume in front of someone, they'd be like, failure where? But, we can be your own toughest critic sometimes.
I love that. So going back to you being a pageant, and that was your first time like in the pageant, what inspired you or what made you wanting to even be a part of it and compete? Yeah.
I think that's the golden question.
Yeah.
I actually ended up meeting Joy Forrest, who was Miss Missouri USA 2021, in an event that I was covering as a reporter for Fox 2 News. And when I met her, she was great. She was just so kind, awesome. And I didn't really know much about the pageant that she won. I didn't know much about Miss USA or Miss Missouri USA. So I really started researching. I researched this organization, the women who have been through this organization and have competed, what they were doing now compared to when they were competing. And I just saw a lot of opportunity there, especially in the media field, right? So I was like, I could see this being a stepping stone, a kind of propelling agent for me to get to a big network and to have that media career that I've always dreamed of having, and when I started doing it, again, it came with a lot of unexpected twists and turns, and I'm not from that world. I've never been from that world, I would consider myself someone who enjoys fashion and all that stuff, but I wouldn't say I'm a fashionista by any means. I'm not a makeup expert or guru, I kind of just go with the flow, but I studied and I learned and I did what I had to do to go get the crown.